Welcome to your favorite bookish podcast, Fully Booked and Caffeinated. I'm Kelsey,
And I'm Heather.
and we have a special monthly bonus episode for you, Bookish Banter and more. So we'll let you all know about what other books we read this month that we didn't review on the pod, and whether or not they're worth reading. And we'll talk about any exciting news from the book world. We'll discuss our other pop culture obsessions aside from books from the past month. And first, let's not forget that we still need our sustenance, even though this is not our normal episode. So I'm
Exactly.
switching it up a little bit. I'm not having a coffee. I'm drinking a red, white, and blueberry cider from the Windridge Cidery. I don't know. It's a hard cider. It's delicious. It's cold. It's fruity, and I love it.
Wow, and it's also kind of like a foreshadowing what's to come in our next episode.
Sure is. It
I
sure is. I like that connection you just made.
was like, maybe you should have saved this for our next one, but I don't know if you want to drink that at 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean, YOLO.
Probably not.
YOLO.
Probably not.
We're recording this in the nighttime, so that's why we're like, let's get the good beverages going.
Yeah, let's switch it up. So, Heather, what are you and baby drinking tonight?
So Baby and I are drinking a Mingle sparkling mocktail, which our friend Danielle so graciously gave me, so I can pretend that I'm drinking even though I'm not. And it's a blackberry hibiscus Bellini, and I can confirm it's delicious.
Oh, it sounds so fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So,
cheers.
cheers. Delicious.
All right. So I'm going to start with my January reads. These are all the books I read besides, obviously, our review reads. And then I'm just going to simply tell you whether they're worth the read or not. And some of these are going to be unpopular opinions because I'm starting with The Perfect Marriage, Geneva Rose. It's an for me. It's a take it or leave it. I am shocked. Book Talk had me believing that I was ready to just drop everything for this book. Not anything special.
I know, when you told me you didn't like that book, I was actually shocked because same thing, Bookstagram loved it.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was
Everyone's
like
like,
one of the
gotta
most
read.
popular ones last year.
Yeah.
But I just maybe I'm thrillered out. I was just like, you're trying too hard. It was almost
Mm,
like too fast paced.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say don't read it, but it wasn't amazing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. Just because
Exactly.
everyone else loves it doesn't mean you're going to love it.
Exactly, but obviously my opinion is superior. Anyway, um, I read Baby Teeth by Zoe Stage. That's a no for me. There are better creepy kid books that you can select. The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda, which you lent me. That I really liked. I thought there was a lot going on, but I really enjoyed it and thought it was original. So that's
Hmm.
a yes for me. I read Womb by Duncan Ralston, which is possibly the most graphic and gross book I've ever read.
Oh no.
It's a no for me. I didn't
Okay.
not like it, but I could live without ever reading it.
Mm.
I read Run on Red by Noelle Illy. I'm not sure how to say her last name. Um, this one was good if you like claustrophobic thrillers, kidnapping thrillers. It was definitely good. I read Sour Candy, which is a very short novella, a little horror novella about a demon child. So that one was pretty good. And it was a super quick read. It was like 95 pages.
Oh, nice.
I read Any Man by Amber Tamblyn. This is a yes, definitely yes. It's rape culture from the man's perspective, which, if anyone listened to our Luckiest Girl Alive episode, we have opinions on rape
We do have
culture.
opinions. Yes, that's
So,
true.
so that was a must for me. The Silent Woods by Kimmy Cunningham Grant. This was so good. I didn't think it was particularly thrilling. Like everyone said, it was like this crazy thriller. I just thought it was such a good story, and it was all about nature, and it had a lot of good imagery in it. I promise I'm almost done. The Lies I Tell, Julie Clark. Loved, 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 loved. Absolutely loved it. This one, definite yes. Everyone has to read it. It's about a female vigilante who just gives men what they deserve. Enough said. And that brings me to They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, which is also a yes, because it's also about a female vigilante getting revenge on men who are trash. So what can I say? I have a certain theme
You
I
do.
have, I like what I like. You know
You
what I
do like
mean?
what you like. You're never going to be surprised by your book choices.
Exactly. It's either very graphic horror, rape culture,
Or
or
demon babies.
yes, yes,
You have a
but I
thing
like
for demon
to
babies.
listen. There's a reason that I am child free by choice, okay?
True, true, true. Let's hope my baby doesn't come out a demon.
Well, I'll be an expert on it, so I'll be able to tell
Mm,
you.
true. So maybe it's good. Maybe it's good that you're
Maybe it's
educating
good. Wait,
yourself on
I'm
all these
doing
novels.
research.
You're
I'm
doing
doing
research for
research for
me.
you.
Yeah.
So, you're welcome in advance. And
Perfect. I love it.
now, please tell us what you read this month.
All right. So my list is not as extensive as yours, but that's fine. Everyone reads at their own pace. There's no award here for whoever reads the most.
I just went off, okay?
No,
The
you
holidays
did.
were
That's
over.
fine.
I went
Yeah,
off.
exactly. I'm jealous that you're able to read as much as you did. The thing for me is that the pregnancy exhaustion is taking over my life, so I didn't read as much as I normally do because I legitimately could not focus.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I, aside from our rereads or books that we read for the podcast, I read a total of 5 books. 4 I actually finished. 1 was my first ever do not finish, which I will get into that. So the first book that I read in January was Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. And yes, I recommend. I definitely recommend. We like Colleen Hoover on this podcast. I read The Rewind by Alison Wynne Scotch, which was a romance novel. And for me, that's also a take it or leave it. It takes place in one time frame and it kind of drags. So it's if you want something to read, that's a cute read, I would suggest, but I wouldn't put up top of your priority. Twisted Games by which I meant to look up the pronunciation of her last name and I forgot because she's Asian American and I don't want to butcher it, but her first name is Anna. And I think her last name might be Huang, or I'm not very sure, but this is another romance novel. Clearly I have a theme. And yes, I recommend. It's a cute little royal romance with some steaminess. We like a little spice.
Sure do.
And then I read No Exit by Taylor Adams, which is a thriller novel that is my worst nightmare. And I don't ever want to experience what happens in this book. And yes, I recommend. So I recommend that one. So for my do not finish, it was a thriller novel Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett. And I couldn't do it. It was boring. I only got like 70 pages in and it wasn't doing anything for me.
That's
But
brutal.
what really made me not be able to get through it is that every couple of pages, the main character of the book would think of a word to herself and it was shit nuts. And
What
this
now?
word appeared, shit nuts. And this word, shit nuts. And it just appeared, I kid you not, like every 10 pages. And I'm like, I
But
can't do this. I
what
can't
is
read
the
this.
definition of shit nuts?
I don't know. So if something happened or she said something maybe she didn't want to say or she learned something that she didn't think, her inner reaction, her inner monologue would be shit nuts.
So like
And I'm like,
instead of shit, she
yeah,
said shit
shit
nuts.
nuts.
Okay. All right. I'm on your side. I
Yeah,
totally get
I
it.
know. And I was, I always try to give books the benefit. I constantly push myself to finish books, even if I don't like them. And I'm trying to stop that this year. I don't want
Hmm.
to force myself to read something I don't enjoy because why? Because everyone
There's
else
too
liked
many
it?
good
Or,
books.
yeah. So if I'm starting this new thing in 2023 where if I can't get into a book, I'm just not going to finish it. I'm not going to force myself to read something that doesn't hold my interest.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So,
There's too many books to choose from to waste time on one that you don't like.
yeah.
But you should share how you've been choosing books to read since you have so many on your TBR cart.
Yes. So I was using actually an app that we use for our book club, but I stopped that because it was actually too much work. And so, and it just wasn't, it didn't look cute. So I actually, instead, we have a lot of jars in this house. So I wrote it all on a piece of paper and I put it into a jar. And now I pick it out of a jar. And now my husband is going to do the same exact thing for his TBR. I have inspired him. And of course, he's making me write all his books down because I have the nicer handwriting.
Of course.
So now he has a
But
book thing. Mm-hmm.
that's a great idea. Because
Yes.
sometimes it's too hard to choose. And I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I
I
think it's a
know.
great
And
idea.
yeah, so and I had 56 books. So I just picked my one for which I won't talk about until February because I'm not going to finish it before. Actually, no, I'm not going to finish it before February starts. So it'll be my new way of doing it, and I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. And then we'll also be posting these books on our social medias in case anyone wants to refer back to the ones that we
Hmm.
recommended. There's also a couple anticipated book releases for January. So, How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, which we will be reviewing some books by Grady Hendrix. I've read a couple by him. And this one seems really good. And it's obviously, highly anticipated because he's super big, especially on Book Talk right now. And then the other one is Spare, Prince Harry's, what is it? A biography? What is it?
Did you
It's not a
listen
memoir because he's
to the
alive.
podcast about it? That because I know you listen to that celebrity memoir podcast. I don't listen to it, but I know, and I think they did an episode about him.
Well, I saw their videos on TikTok where they do like
Okay,
snippets of their
yeah.
reviews, and my God, that's okay. I don't have that much vested interest in the royal family and like their gossip stuff. Like I'm here for the drama, but just the fact of how much drama this man is creating, I'm like, I want to read this. Like this sounds juicy.
I agree.
So I don't know. We might have to talk about it. We'll see. We'll see.
I know. I don't really read memoirs that often. We're gonna do one later this year on a popular one that came out last year. But I like literally couldn't believe some of the stuff I was seeing. Like people were like, he's gone psychotic almost. You
Yeah, like
know.
he's blowing shit up from the inside. Like
Hmm.
I don't know how he's gonna come back from this. But I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've heard, a lot of it has nuggets of truth. So
I bet it does. I really bet it does.
I just can't believe because what he can't take it back now.
No,
So
it's
he
it's
really
out there
chose,
now.
yeah, he chose his path and he said, I'm going with it. So
Yeah,
good for
it's
him.
it's written. You can't get rid of that. You
Yeah.
can't delete that once it's written.
He said, I lost that royal money, so
I gotta
I gotta make
supplement my
my own
income.
money.
I'll make my wife start acting again or something. Who knows?
Oh my gosh. Remember when she was on Deal or No Deal? That's my favorite thing in the world.
Oh my god, I forgot
Was
about
one of
that.
the suitcase girls.
I forgot. I mean, she
Yeah.
was really good on the show Suits, I have to say.
I mean, she missed her calling, but now she's an ex-princess. So I don't know, whatever. Uh, any other books that came out in January that we're looking forward to?
Not that I was. I know in
Okay.
February there's like one or two that are coming out because I thought there was one that I was really excited about that was coming out this month, but it's actually next month. So
Okay.
my bad.
All right. So let's move on to our book news. We're going to have a theme tonight. And the theme, you guessed it, it's Colleen Hoover. Okay.
No. Shocker.
So let's start with Colleen Hoover's coloring book based on It Ends With Us. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything with the book because we're definitely going to cover it. But if you look up the trigger warnings, you can clearly see that there are themes of physical abuse in the
Hmm.
book. So people were not happy that they were basically turning this dark ass book into something as lighthearted and clearly profitable as a coloring book. So before we get into Colleen's response and the controversy of it all, what do you think? Do you agree that this is a problematic coloring book, or what do you think?
Can I be fully transparent?
Please do, always.
I could care less. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I actually have barely even researched it. I was like, cool, Kelsey's going to look into this. I'm going to learn all about it. Because I was like, oh, cool, she made a coloring book. Well, I kind of was like, not
Hmm.
like, oh, cool. I was like, weird, actually. But I was like, all right,
Hmm.
like, whatever. This is what authors do. Once you become a big author and you have this huge following, you start to create things. Like they have Harry Potter coloring books. Like they have, this is just the trend. This
Yeah,
is what happens when you become a very successful author and she is now definitely considered a big name author.
yeah, absolutely. I
So,
do think it's a weird choice just
yes.
because the theme of that book is so heavy, but I think
But
exactly like you said.
I guess I could see because the themes are so heavy, this is maybe I know for some people coloring is a stress release.
Yep. Yeah. A
It's a
therapeutic
mental health
technique.
thing.
Yeah.
So for people that maybe it was potentially maybe her reasoning or her reason for doing it was a way for, abuse victims or anyone. It's just because it's such a calming thing that it correlates with the
Yeah.
book, and it's kind of like a relief thing.
Wow, that's actually a really good point, and I did not even think about it like that.
That's where my mind would go when you bring
Yeah.
up the traumatic themes that are in the book.
Yeah. No, that's very true because like you said, it is a calming thing. Sometimes it's a therapeutic technique. It's a way for people to relax. Like I
Yeah,
I
like
totally get that.
I started coloring during COVID because it was
Oh
something to
yeah.
do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it in a sense.
Yeah. So I don't have an issue with the coloring book. I think the problem is how she responded.
Oh,
So
cool. I don't know this.
yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she posted, at least on her Instagram story, I don't know where else she posted this, but she said, I quote, "The coloring book was developed with Lily's strength in mind, but I can absolutely see how this was tone deaf. I hear you guys and I agree with you. No excuses, no finger pointing. I have contacted the publisher to let them know I would prefer we don't move forward with it. Thank you for the respectful discourse and accountability. Nothing but love." So first and foremost, she explains that the idea of the strength behind it and how that can be beautiful, which I totally get.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with her response was the use of the word tone deaf.
Yeah.
And that's why it's really been blowing up all over TikTok because that's clearly an ableist word.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many other words that she could have used. I don't think she meant it in a derogatory way at all. I don't think she is insinuating that people with disabilities are less than, but when you are that popular and when you have this growing popularity and when you are blowing up so quickly, you do need to take a step back and say, I have to look at my words because tone deaf is just not the first thing that would personally come to my mind. And I'm not
No,
saying
me
that,
either.
like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that I never make ableist comments because I know that I do, but there's just so many other things she could have said. Like, she could have said, I wasn't looking at the big picture. I didn't understand how it might affect some people. Like, it's just a very strange word for her to use in that
Mm-hmm.
statement.
Yeah.
So I do get why people are upset about that. I think that she has a responsibility to make sure that she's not hurting a large part of the community, especially the social media community, who is essentially responsible for this growing fame that she has
Mm-hmm.
because, she would she would still be a successful author, but she sure as shit wouldn't be getting a movie like this without the recent publicity that she's gotten. You know what I mean?
No, and one thing I've learned recently, actually, too, on Bookstagram is that there actually is a pretty big divide on Colleen Hoover. You're either a fan of her or you don't like her at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I did see a couple like problematic things, which I'm not going to get into, but I can understand like why people might not like her as an author. So I'm sure that when this coloring book came out, it was kind of an easy thing for her attackers to grasp on and
Yeah.
cause this
Yeah.
huge ruckus. So, but that's what happens. People get popular and then either people like you or they don't like you. And then
Yeah.
they research you in your life and they find one thing that maybe happened in your past and it becomes your only attribute.
Yeah. And that's why like I don't think the coloring book is the issue and I think that she's always going to have her critics because of that reason. And we talked
Mm-hmm.
about it in our Verity episode. Like
Yeah.
some people are never going to respect her as an author
Mm-mm.
and some people are never going to like her, but the biggest issue is just her use of that word and just the like not acknowledging that that's a large group of people. I mean, it's basically a slur to, disabled people. So it's
It
like
is.
it it's something that's the real issue. So now we took something that shouldn't have been an issue, which is a freaking coloring book. And now it's an issue of people can point to her and say that she, you know, doesn't care about disabled people, that she uses ableist language, like all these things. It just snowballs. So that's why I think it's just, she's always going to have the people who are going to hate on her, obviously. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was a big misstep, and I think she did mess up. But as far as I know, she hasn't responded to the community after that and, apologize for her use of that word. Or maybe she did usher an apology, but it was nothing that I saw that kind
Okay.
of made it
Yeah.
okay. You know what I mean? So there's definitely still some heat on her. But like we said, there's always going to be people who aren't going to like her anyway. Doesn't matter how good her apology is, some people are never going to accept it anyway. So
Mm-mm.
so she just has to learn from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's got some other big stuff going on to distract her.
I
So
know. I was
why
super
don't you talk
excited.
about it?
Yeah, I was super excited when I logged on. When I went on, I was like, oh, Colleen Hoover posted like a new reel on Instagram, and it's about the movie casting for It Ends With Us. And she somehow got lucky enough to got she got oh my God, to get Blake fucking Lively to
Oh,
play Lily Bloom. Are
I
you
cannot.
kidding me? The queen, the one woman who is married to the man that I am so jealous of.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
She has the actual perfect husband.
Hmm.
She has so many children with him. And I'm
Hmm.
just like, she's a gem. She's a total gem. Love everything about her. So I am very, very excited that she's in this movie.
So
I am
excited.
very excited. And then Ryle is going to be played by Justin Baldoni, who's also directing it, which I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um, I have seen him act because I did watch like the first 2 seasons of Jane the Virgin. So that's what
Okay.
I know him from, which he actually also put out like a memoir book this past year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a memoir book or what it is per se, but I've seen people posting about it on Bookstagram. Yeah, he also put
Okay.
out a book last year. So I'm interested
Okay.
in seeing what that's about. But it was actually a pretty emotional video for Colleen Hoover herself because she actually went to the house that she grew up in with her, her mom and her sister after her mom saved them from like her abusive father. So that was kind of cool
Yeah.
to do her announcement there. But she said she's going to try to like sneak pictures of the set and stuff. So if there's any updates over the next couple of months, we can talk about them at the end of these episodes. But I'm excited. I like the book. I really enjoyed the book. We're going to actually
Hmm.
talk about the book later this year, like I said. So, but I'm
Yeah.
wondering who's going to be Atlas. I can't wait for that casting.
Yeah. I'm super excited for that too. I never would have picked Blake Lively in my head, but I know that she can literally play any character. Like she's been in every single type of movie. She has so much
Hmm.
range.
She does.
So she's going to be amazing in it. But I also am really happy that she's such a big name because a movie with such powerful themes like that can very easily be done poorly and
Hmm.
be done tastelessly. So I think the fact that obviously they have a big budget for this movie, obviously, they're putting a lot into it. I think that is very promising and it makes me more excited than I was before.
Yeah, I agree. She's a really good actress.
Yeah.
So, and I think she's going to do great.
Yeah. And like it's just so like you said that it was emotional for her. Like it's just so cool that
Yeah.
she was able to do that. And
Yeah, and it's just I like when authors take a story from their life and loosely base books on it because
mhm,
it gives you that something from their perspective and you get to kind of see a little bit of what their life was like.
mhm. Yeah,
So,
and we talked about it with Jessica Knoll a little bit.
mhm.
Just that vulnerability that it takes to really put it out there. It's not just talking about your perfect life, it's talking about something horrible from your
Yeah.
past, and you're literally opening yourself up for the world to criticize. So even that on top of all the controversy is like a whole nother layer to it. It's like this book is so dear to her and like so she connects with it so deeply that the
Mhm.
the criticism of it has to hurt even more. You know what I
I
mean?
know, but let's be honest. I feel like any kind of artist, musician, painter, author, director, screenwriter, your best work comes from your most traumatic events.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Trauma, trauma just gives you pain, but then gives you such beautiful things that you can create,
I
which is
mean,
so fucked up.
look at us out here living our best lives from our trauma.
I
Hello.
know.
No, I totally agree. That's
Yeah.
because it's so you can sense how deep it is and how real it is and how
Hmm.
like just when you're reading, when an author has poured their whole heart out into it.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that they grew from the ashes.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, that was so poetic and beautiful. Wow, look out. Uh, okay, so this is not a Colleen Hoover podcast, I swear. So let's talk about, oh, first I have a little catch-up corner.
Hmm.
We've been talking about Luckiest Girl Alive. I mentioned it a couple times, but I recently saw on Jessica Knoll's TikTok, she was posting about her cameo in Luckiest Girl Alive, which we completely missed.
Yes.
I did not know she was in it even when I was, researching. I mean, I was mostly researching the book and not the
Hmm.
movie, but she posted about how excited she was to have a part in it, and she had a role. She was just like in the elevator with Ani and one of the other women from the newspaper when they were having a conversation. She's just like standing in the corner of the elevator, but she has a magazine in her hand from that year that had on the cover, it had like the most powerful women of the year. So it was all like very thought out, and it was just super cool. Like you could tell she was so excited to be a part of it,
Hmm.
even though it's literally her creation. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just thought that was really cool. So if you don't follow her on TikTok, go follow her on TikTok.
I also like love like how excited she was that she like got a photo with Mila Kunis. I'm like, I would be
Oh
too.
my gosh. That's what
The
I'm
dream.
saying.
Like,
Like
I can't.
Jessica Knoll got Mila Kunis. Colleen Hoover got
Cougar
Blake
got Blake
Lively.
Lively.
What is happening?
Oh man, the dream
Life is
team.
not fair.
It's not at all.
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about our other pop culture obsessions for our listeners who don't read quite as much as we do, and also because we love trashy TV,
Yeah.
obviously.
Not only are we binge readers, but we're binge TV watchers.
Oh, yes. I don't know where we find the time, but
Me
we find the time.
either.
Okay, so recent TV, I know that we are both going to talk about Traders.
So good.
No spoilers, but Traders on, what's it on?
Peacock.
Peacock. Watch the whole season. It's a bunch of reality TV stars, mostly from like Bravo shows, Big Brother,
Survivor.
Survivor, and they are competing for money, and there's secret traders among them who have to convince the others that they're loyals, faithfuls, whatever they're called.
No, I know.
Whatever. It's
No,
great.
I'm thinking because my favorite part about the show is that the amazing Alan Cumming is the host and he has this adorable Scottish accent. And when he says murder, he's like, murder. And I'm
Murder.
like, oh my God, this is so funny. I'm like, I love everything about this. And I made
The whole thing is taped in a castle. It's literally in a
the
castle.
which makes me laugh because Alan is coming is like, welcome to my huge Scotland castle that is definitely mine and not production's castle. It is my
Hmm.
castle.
Hmm.
And I'm
Hmm.
like, damn straight, you tell them if it's your castle.
I love it. That show is so much better than I thought it was going to be. At
It
first,
was
I thought it was
really
going to
good.
be, yeah, I
Hmm.
thought it was going to be a little cheesy at first, but I thought it was awesome.
No, it was a really well done reality competition show.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what other TV binges did you do this month?
I binged Wednesday on Netflix, which was fucking phenomenal.
Oh,
I literally watched it all in 24 hours.
oh
Like
my
during the
gosh.
week, during a work week, I binged the show. How I did it, I don't know. But
That's
it was
awesome.
so good. Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams was legitimately chef's kiss. She was
Obsessed with her.
phenomenal and she did all these interviews and she did everything herself. She learned the cello. She learned how to fence. Like she literally took this character and everything this character did, she learned how to do. And I was like, that's amazing.
That's really
You know?
cool. That's really cool. And she's so up and coming. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's awesome. I really love her.
Yeah, so it's definitely highly recommend if you haven't watched it yet. I also binged Abbott Elementary because it won all these awards and I've been wanting to watch it, so I finally was like, I'm gonna bite the bullet and watch it. Quinta Brunson created this phenomenal Philadelphia Elementary TV show. Highly recommend. It's hilarious. The pop cultural references in Abbott Elementary are so good. I
Love.
just
Okay.
I can't. They did like a Stranger Things reference in the most recent episode, and I was dying. I'm like, yes. I'm like, give it to me. Like, give me all the pop culture references. But highly recommend. Highly recommend that as well. It's a very funny show. There is one whole season, and which is only like 13, 14 episodes. There's not many. And then
Okay.
season 2, I think they're up to like 13 episodes right now. And it's
And
on
what
Hulu.
platform?
That's how I'm watching it
Hulu.
on. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I watched Kaleidoscope, which has been
Mhm.
making its rounds on the internet. That's a Netflix show that doesn't have, I think it's only like 8 episodes or something. It's not
I
that
think
long.
so.
But everyone has, if you haven't heard about it, everyone has their own viewing experience. So you just log into your Netflix and everyone's Netflix, I mean, not everyone, there's only so many combinations, but you log into your Netflix and it puts it in a certain order. So, like, if I log into my Netflix and Heather logs into hers, they might be two completely different orders to watch it in, but everyone watches the same episode last. I'm not usually into heist or action stuff. I did really like it. There was some parts that were like super cheesy, and I did see how they were setting it up for a second season. There was a lot of cliffhangers at the end, but I did end up liking it. I was it was a lot of story to follow, but I just thought the idea of like being able to watch it in any order was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend it, especially if you're into action type stuff. And then I just watched Circle season 4. I know that I'm a season behind.
Oh,
I
yes.
get
I
it.
binged that too.
No
Season 5, the new one.
spoilers. Yes, I just started season 5. No spoilers, but season 4 was so freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely loved it. So if you're not watching The Circle, you're messing up. Other than that, I mean, we're watching our normal
The
MTV
Bachelor
shows.
is
Oh,
back. Our favorite stupid reality dating show that I punish myself with because I can't not watch it.
I can't not watch it. And I was talking a lot of crap about it last week when you and I were talking about whether we were going to watch it, but I forgot that the first night episode is the best episode
Mm-hmm.
because it's so funny. Like everyone is crying, everyone is forcefully making out with the bachelor, who is possibly the most boring bachelor.
Well, my favorite, oh my God.
Uh,
Well, I don't know. We'll see. But I was like, this bro is kissing everybody.
oh,
He's kissing everybody
he was playing spin the
on the
bottle.
first night. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I know obviously you're gonna kiss one or two girls, or a girl's gonna kiss one or two guys. Like, it happens. But I follow Bachelor Data on Instagram, and she does all these
Hmm.
cool charts and
Yes,
everything.
I saw her chart.
And she showed that Zach he has kissed the most girls out of any of the bachelors on the first
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
And my favorite is I sent it to my husband because Eric also watches The Bachelor, because why, I don't know. He also likes to torture himself, I guess.
yeah.
But I was like, Zach's a little hoe. And then Eric writes back, can't make a husband out of a hoe. And I was
That's
dying.
incredible. And then when he kissed that girl when she got out of the limo,
Immediately. I mean, he did meet her on After the Final Rose.
but
And he
still, I was
probably, no,
like,
he kissed her. He kissed her because he feels bad that he forgot her name on live TV.
yeah, he was like, remember that time. And he like created a not common name, even though she has a common name. That was so weird. I
It
don't know.
was so
I don't
weird.
understand, Zach.
No.
I don't know. I don't have that many opinions yet that are positive. So we'll see if that changes
Yeah.
over the season. But I mean, it looks like the usual. Lots of crying, lots of drama, tears from the man, a proposal, whatever, the
I
usual.
know. If there's one thing that you and I love, it's dating shows. So if it's
Yes.
out there, I'm going to watch it. Like, now we're watching Are You the One, which is now on
Hmm.
Paramount Plus. There's 2 episodes out of that. It's terrible. It's so good.
Oh, so good. So terrible.
In pop culture news, Netflix is coming out with a new dating competition show with all Netflix reality contestants, like show contestants.
There's
So
like 40 people on the show.
there's Love is Blind people. There's that other show,
Too Hot to Handle.
Too Hot to Handle. What was the other one? Oh my gosh, that Nick and Vanessa. Ultimatum. Zay from
Yes, the
Ultimatum is on
Ultimatum
it.
people. Yes.
Yeah. There's other reality shows. The Circle. People from The Circle are on there.
Yep.
It's
Hmm.
The Mole, which we watched too.
Yes. Yeah.
There's people from. It's just like a rambunctious bag of all these Netflix reality contestants that are now on a dating show. And
Yeah.
I literally screamed when I saw the reel, and I sent it to
I'm
Kelsey, and I was
so
like,
excited.
bruh.
It seems like it's going to be a better version of what they were trying to do with All-Star Shore,
Yeah,
where they
probably.
like brought
Which
all
I
those
never
people
finished.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cheesy, but this, like, I am living for it, especially
Mm-hmm.
because they picked the messiest people, like
Oh yeah.
Bartiz. Oof,
Mm-hmm.
let me see this man. Let me see this man.
Shane,
It oh, let me
it's
see these
gonna
men in a
be,
bar
oh
somewhere.
no. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be so good and
It's
so
gonna be
bad.
so good. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that once it starts
I
because
know.
you know that
I
we'll be
think it
watching
comes
that.
out on Valentine's Day, if I remember correctly.
Wow,
I think it
wow.
comes out on Valentine's Day.
Romance is not dead. Let's
Mm.
just say that about Netflix, okay?
No, they love love on that show or
They
on that
love
platform.
love.
Hmm.
They love love on Too Hot to Handle. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, what about podcasts? Any
I
that you're raving about lately?
A new one that I started listening to is Broad Ideas with Rachel Bilson
Okay.
because I love her.
Mm-hmm.
That one is pretty good. I just started recently listening to that, and I love Sounds Like a Cult, which I got you
Yeah.
hooked on.
Oh my gosh, you got me totally hooked on that. I've listened to almost every episode. Some of them are very triggering, as you know, because you've
Uh-huh.
been triggered by some of them too.
I was mentally and emotionally triggered by the cult of Apple because I
Oh my
am
gosh.
such an Apple freak.
Yeah. And some of the cults are very dark. I listened to the one on the troubled teen industry. Oh my gosh. Tragic, dark, awful. But it's an awesome podcast. They do really good work
Yeah.
and they are very open about the fact that they're not experts. So they're, just like giving you the overview and telling you the good and the bad, which I really
Hmm.
like.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I also listen to on the Ringer reality TV network, they do a whole bunch of different podcasts that are all based on reality TV. And
Oh.
Johnny Bananas podcast is on there.
Oh.
So I listen to his challenge recap podcast.
I
And
didn't know
then,
that was a thing.
well, Tyson also has a podcast on the same network when Survivor is on, and he does the
Mm.
Survivor recap. So that's how I found it. And I mean, there's a lot of good podcasts. There's some shows that I don't watch, like some Bravo shows and stuff,
Hmm.
but they have pretty much any reality TV that you're looking for, they have a show for it.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, and I listened to that one on Spotify. So
I've been, I do some on Apple and I do some on Spotify, but I've been slowly moving myself over to Spotify
yeah,
because I really like Armchair Expert and that's only on Spotify. That's the only
okay,
platform he has his podcast on. So he like cut a deal with them like 2 years ago.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's easier to have them all in one spot.
mhm.
Yeah, any other pop culture obsessions or news that we need to go over?
Eric and I really like that movie The Menu that came out. That's on HBO Max.
What is that about?
It's it's considered a horror film, and I guess it is. It's not the typical horror film that I think about, but it has Anya Taylor-Joy in it, and it's about this chef that invites all these terrible people to a restaurant to basically serve them like one last meal, but they don't know it's their last meal, and it's this whole thing, and it's like a psychological horror.
Wait, I love this.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. We really
This
liked it.
sounds like my
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely not scary and it's
Hmm.
not very gory or murdery, but
Okay.
it's good. I liked it.
Okay.
There's a
All right.
scene that involves a burger and it is the best scene of the movie and you'll understand why when you watch it.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna watch that because that
Mhm.
sounds like my kind of thing.
Yeah.
A psychological horror for sure.
Yeah, I haven't really been watching movies lately. I've been slowly getting myself I used to be a huge movie buff and I've been slowly getting myself back into watching movies. Like we watched a
Yeah.
bunch over Christmas and I'm like now I'm kind of like, "Oh, I got to get back into this." Which I'm really
Yeah.
excited. Actually, wait. No, there is new news because Netflix is also coming out with a new romance movie which we'll probably talk about next month with Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon and I'm dying.
Yes.
I
Wait,
have
I
wanted
saw that.
Oh my god, there have not been any good rom-coms in so goddamn long. And
And
I'm
Ashton Kutcher is the underrated rom-com king.
listen, and her like him and Reese Witherspoon, they had the best rom-coms in the early 2000s.
Oh my
Okay?
God. Okay. Reese
Like
Witherspoon,
Ashton
I mean, come on.
Ashton Kutcher had just married. He had no
Loved it.
strings attached. Reese
Loved it.
Witherspoon had This Means War, Sweet Home Alabama. Like, don't get me started. Like, rom-coms in the
Well,
early
I
2000s were my jam.
I just
In
love
late
Reese
2000s.
Witherspoon
Mm-hmm.
and everything that she does. So I'm just very excited. That's going to be a good one.
Yes. And actually, as I'm talking about things, I'm thinking of things that are happening. Daisy Jones and the Six series is starting
Yes.
in March. And that's
Okay.
Taylor Jenkins Reid's book, which was phenomenal. And Reese Witherspoon's production company is backing it. They're the ones that created it. So I'm really excited because anything she does is usually amazing.
Yeah, I saw that the trailers have started coming out. And that was one of her book club picks too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
actually
it
not.
was.
I think so. I think it was actually. It was good. I loved it. I read it last year. It was really good. So I'm really excited about the show, and I think that's going to be on Amazon Prime.
Okay. Oh, so many that we're going to have to talk about
I know.
after they actually
the
air.
things that are popping up into my head. I'm like, oh my god, wait, this and that. There's so much.
Yeah, and then they released all the upcoming horror movies for 2023, but most of them didn't have release dates as far as like months, but I'm so excited because Scream 6 is coming out. Don't even get me started.
Have you watched Megan yet?
No.
They're making a sequel.
Oh, already?
They're going to make a sequel. Mm-hmm.
Wait, did you watch it?
No.
First of all, I'm terrified of robots.
Yeah.
And you already know I'm terrified of children. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it.
But it has like good reviews. Like people ate it up.
I'm going to have to watch it like at 9 a.m.
You are.
It's
going to have to be like a daytime horror film.
I'm like, I love horror movies, but not when it's about a robot child. I can't do it. All right. But now I have to watch it because if they're coming out with a sequel, I can't be left out. Okay.
Yes. Anyways, moving on. Sorry.
Next month we're talking about Megan.
Okay, I
know. Okay, so now we are going to move to our book question. Have this great idea for us to each ask each other a book-themed question. And it's going to be, we don't know what each other's questions are.
Nope.
So these answers are going to be
on the spot.
On the spot.
Might make no sense.
I'm gonna regret my answer. I already know it. I'm gonna be texting Heather later, like, oh my gosh, I had a perfect answer for that question and I messed it up. But that's fine. Okay. Mine is an easy one. So
cool.
So you're gonna do fine.
All right.
So mine, what is your Hogwarts house? And explain why. And you want me to go first or you want to go first?
I thought I would go first, then you would do yours.
Go ahead.
So growing up, I always thought it was Gryffindor, but as I've gotten older, I'm 100% a Hufflepuff.
Everyone wants to be a Gryffindor.
I am because exactly, I want to be a Gryffindor because I'm like, oh, I want to be brave, and I want to, Hermione Granger was the epitome of who I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older, I was like, no, I'm definitely I'm a nerd. I'm like a fun, happy nerd. I'm a Hufflepuff.
All right, so let's just see. Hufflepuff characteristics: justice, loyalty, patience, and a propensity for hard work. So tell me which one of these resonate with you the most.
Probably the propensity for hard work. Except there's one thing I do, it's overwork myself in every single aspect of my life.
Hence the fact that you're like, I'm pregnant and tired, but I worked a full work week. We're recording our podcast. We watched 30 different TV shows, 20 movies.
I've read 7 books.
Business, reading the books. It's fine.
I mean, luckily it's been like a lull right now in the jam business, but come springtime, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm going to be I don't even know how I'm going to survive, but I'll get through it.
All right. I think that's pretty accurate. I definitely see your Hufflepuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is going to come as a big shocker.
It's not, but go ahead.
I'm a Slytherin.
Yeah. Woo! Oh my god, no, you're not. Can you see my face? I'm shocked.
Oh gosh. Okay, so even though Slytherins get a bad rap, their main traits are ambition, cunning, and pride. And while I am not the type of person to do anything to get ahead, I am very resourceful and I have a lot of self-assurance. Cue the hair flip.
Absolutely.
Plus, I do have that little dark side that doesn't care about people pleasing to hold me back. So I also just don't see how I'm not brave like a Gryffindor. I'm not smart enough to be a Ravenclaw. I don't have undeterred loyalty of a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
And I have a dark mark tattoo. So
You're obviously
so I told you the easy
obviously
question.
a Slytherin through and through.
Oh gosh.
Which,
Okay.
like,
So
is fine because, like, wasn't Snape a Slytherin? So, like, and he was like,
don't talk to me about Snape. I'm not on the Snape train. I'm not on the Snape train. We'll get
oh.
into it. We'll get into it because you know that on this podcast we're going to be covering all of the Harry Potter books in due time.
Yeah.
So don't get me started right now.
Okay.
Okay?
I won't.
Thank you.
What
Thank
about
you.
Bellatrix?
Bellatrix is a bad bitch. But Molly Weasley is the real bad bitch.
She
Who
is.
said, not
Absolutely.
my daughter, and then wave them at
Iconic.
wands.
The most iconic.
Iconic. She's a queen.
All right. Mm-hmm. So, for the month of January, we read thriller novels. So my question for you is, if you were a character in a thriller novel, what would you want your role to be?
Okay, this is unfair because I just finished 2 back-to-back thrillers about female vigilantes who target. They didn't just target men because whatever, hashtag not all men, but they targeted trash men, okay? One of the books, they targeted rapists. The other book, they targeted, okay, also rapists. There's just a theme of targeting rapists. But anyway, so obviously I'm going to be the female vigilante, and the reason that females get away with that revenge is because we're patient. We're more patient than men. Men act on their, emotions because even though we're the emotional ones, in quotes, but we have patience. We stake out a man, we learn their ways, and then we take them down. And that's who I would be.
You would definitely be the lead of a thriller novel.
I would have to be. I would have to be. I gotta take, but only as the villain. Only if the thriller is from the villain's point of view.
Yeah, exactly.
The Slytherin's point of view.
I know. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what's yours?
I think mine would be someone that works in, like, the forensic part of the crime scene people.
Oh.
Because that was always my dream job growing up. I used to be obsessed with the show Bones that was on Fox, and I would just want to be like the nerd in the lab.
And that's like
finding the stuff that breaks the case.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I love how they're always written as like super not impatient, but like they don't have time for your dumb questions.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna tell you the information you need to know. Don't ask questions. Straight to the point. Gotta get back to work.
Yeah.
I could see that. I like that. And that's the most fascinating job.
See, I'm a Hufflepuff.
You are a Hufflepuff. You're a Hufflepuff. It's true.
Our questions are intertwining with each other.
They really, really are. All right. So I guess that's all we have for you this month for your bonus episode. You'll find us this Thursday talking about our next read. Red, White, and Royal Blue. So tune in. You're going to love it. We have a lot to say, so you don't want to miss it.
It's going to be a good, long episode. Be a good one.
Yeah,
I have so much to talk about.
Make sure you read the book. You might need a little extra time. It's a long one, but it's worth the ride. So thanks for checking us out. And remember,
if you need us, we are fully booked.
Bye.